Hi, welcome to Tim's Time. Well, I'm all dressed up for this week's filming. Actually, I filmed this week's Tim's Time on Sunday morning right before our annual homecoming service. Our theme for homecoming is pretty simple. We usually center our homecoming this time of year around the theme of Thanksgiving, and we'll do a plethora of things. We'll dedicate babies, commission shoe boxes, mission teams, celebrate all our partnerships, you name it. It's a little bit of everything that God's done in our church family and in our community through this past year. We'll celebrate that and then get ready for another year together. Which brings me to a word that you're going to hear quite a bit this week, and that is the word Thanksgiving. When we think of Thanksgiving, most of us think of food, football, family, and a whole bunch of fun and good things, all of them good things. Celebration, and the Pilgrims. Some of you, if you're history folks, you think back to the origins of Thanksgiving. But most of us, or at least in our culture, tend to reduce the word and the concept of Thanksgiving down to being thankful for what we have. And that's certainly part of it. But that's not what the Bible means when it uses the term Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a reflective word. Remember all that God has done. And so when you celebrate Thanksgiving, we need to join with the Pilgrims, who weren't just thankful that they had survived that first winter and for what they had. They were thankful for what God had done. And so when we celebrate this week, when you celebrate this week, when you pray this week, think in terms of all that God's done in your life, all that He's meant to you, all that He's done through you and for you. And then tie that in with your prayer request. And you'll be doing exactly what Paul talked about in Philippians. We know the verses. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, with prayer and supplication, make your request known to God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. We know that verse. Oops, I left out something that Paul put in there. Prayer, yes. Plead with God. Supplication, intervene and ask God to give you exactly what you want, your heart's desire. Pray for His will to be done. The peace of God, beg for the peace of God to come over you. But do it all, Paul says, under the watchful umbrella of thankfulness and thanksgiving. Remembering all that God's done. In fact, I sort of paraphrase that whole little section of phrases this way. When I tend to get anxious or worried, I can choose not to be anxious or worried, because I can ask God for whatever I want, and I can trust Him to do what's best, knowing that He's done so much for me and with me. And that gives me peace, which means I can face anything. And so can you. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great one.